Guys, what is going on? And welcome to my live review for tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. It's been a while since I've done one of these Raw reviews, and I really wasn't planning on doing a review tonight, but based on what happened to close out Raw, that was just one hell of a segment. What more could I say about it? This episode of Raw had its ups and downs, but I definitely think when it was good, uh, you got some good stuff out of this episode. Not everything was perfect, but man, I'm still in shock from what we saw with that ending. It was just one of those moments. It's like, man, you did not see. I mean, I kind of knew that that's where they were going to go with Enzo and Cass. Eventually with Cass turning, but it didn't hit me until Cass cut that promo, and we will talk about that. But if you're joining me, leave your comments in the live chat. Let me know what you thought of Raw tonight. Like I said, mixed bag, but there was definitely some good stuff on this show that I did enjoy. Like I said in the title up above, Reigns versus Joe. And then with that ending, man, it's just it shocked me. It definitely did shock me. And it's nice to get moments like this on a show that needs more moments like this of unpredictability, of not knowing what's going to happen next. And that ending certainly is what we got. So, man, for joining me, like I said, leave your comments down below in the live chat that will be open throughout this review. I want to know what you thought of Raw tonight, so feel free to do this. It's been a while, like I said, since I've done a live Raw review, but I felt like based on that ending and what we got, I had to come up here and talk about it. So let's talk about Raw tonight. We kicked things off with Roman Reigns, and of course he was being the arrogant prick that we all know and love. I mean, seriously, when he was cutting this promo about making his big announcement for SummerSlam, he got a mixed reaction, and just what he was saying here, how he's beaten Finn Balor and how he's, beaten Braun Strowman, how he main evented 3 WrestleManias, and how he retired The Undertaker. I'm just thinking, man, this guy's so arrogant and full of himself. If they would just, and I sound like a broken record, if they would just pull the trigger on a heel turn, it would just be gold. It would be glorious. But we all know that is not going to happen. So, but I still, seeing arrogant, kind of heelish Roman Reigns on my television, I like that. Not going to lie, I do like that. And then he pretty much said, I'm going to be, I'm announcing myself as the number 1 contender to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And he said, some guy named Joe, and he pretty much blew off Samoa Joe, and that led to Samoa Joe coming down. He got right in Roman Reigns' face. And, he pretty much said, who the hell do you think you are addressing me like that? My name is Samoa Joe. And, to Roman said, you will always just be Joe. And I really liked, the animosity, the tension between these two guys. I keep saying it. Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, I think there's something there you could build off of down the line, have a feud between these two. I think it would be a kick-ass, phenomenal feud, as we saw tonight. There's just something between these two guys. I don't know if it's their heritage, their background, what. But they just click when they're, in the ring cutting a promo in the match later on in the night, which I thought was very good. Eventually, this segment broke it down into chaos and carnage. Of course, Samoa Joe and Reigns brawled onto the outside. Samoa Joe attempted to roll Reigns into the ring, lock in the coquina clutch. But Reigns was able to counter out of that. Joe rolled out of the ring, and we had our main event set later on for the evening. Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns. So I thought it was a nice segment. Joe being full of piss and vinegar. He is on a roll, and I cannot wait for that showdown at that July 9th pay-per-view. You know what it's called. I'm not saying it. Between Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. And later on in the show, we got a really good video package with some backstage interview clips. Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar really building this matchup as a big fight feel. And I have to say kudos to WWE on doing that. It really, this is, it's been a while since I've been anticipating a match like this, but Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar is just the type of match that I am really looking forward to. So it is great stuff. And July 9th cannot come here soon enough. So let's talk about real quick here. We'll just skim through what happened on Raw. We had the Hardy Boys versus Anderson and Gallows. Solid tag team match here. Nothing really too much to say about this other than the fact that the Hardy Boys got the win after Matt hit the Twist of Fate and Jeff hit the Swanton Bomb on Luke Gallows for the win. And Robbie, thank you for joining me tonight. If you watched Raw, which I'm not sure if you do or not, but if you did, let me know what you thought of everything that happened tonight as we go through this review. And there were certain things on the show that did make the list. Trust me. It wouldn't be an episode of Raw if something didn't make the list. But great having you on the live chat, and thanks for watching. But Hardy Boys beating Anderson and Gallows, thought it was a fine, solid tag team match. Nothing really too much to say about it other than Hardy Boys continued to be on a roll. We had another Goldust promo. I love these classic vintage Goldust promos. He said he's ready for his close-up, and he formally invites R-Truth for the debut of his latest motion picture, Shattered Dreams. And he says the Golden Age will return, and apparently he's going to have something next week on Raw called Shattered Truth in LA, so not sure what they're doing there, but I really love the fact that we have classic vintage 1996, 1997 Goldust. That was when he was at his best, his peak. I mean, Goldust is still really good. I feel he's underrated, but, man, he's just killing it with these promos each and every week. He just shows you how you get it done and how you get your point across. And I'm interested to see what they do between, believe it or not, Goldust and R-Truth. They are keeping my interest, and I didn't think that would happen, but ever since Goldust turned heel, I'm interested. We had Elias Sampson be interrupted by Finn Balor, so it looks like we might be getting an Elias Sampson-Finn Balor feud. Not sure how I feel about that. I feel like Finn's kind of been directionless. He has been directionless really since he came back to Raw. I mean, he really hasn't had any major feuds. He's been kind of thrown around here and there. I was hoping for a Finn Balor-Bray Wyatt feud. I feel like that's a missed opportunity because, honestly, Finn Balor, and I'll talk about how this all ties together, I'm making my point here, but Finn Balor beat Bo Dallas. It was a match. It was all right. It was there. Now, the fact of the matter is, and this ties into Seth Rollins coming out next, I do not feel like this Seth Rollins-Bray Wyatt feud is clicking for me. I just feel like it's kind of thrown together. I thought we were getting the Finn Balor-Bray Wyatt feud, and I was like, cool, these two dark characters going at it. They teased it before Payback, and then it's like, well, plans must have changed. I guess Vince McMahon must have changed his mind, and now we're getting Seth Rollins-Bray Wyatt feud. The reason I don't feel it's working is I feel like Seth's kind of not where he should be as a babyface, and we can all thank, WWE and their crappy way of booking baby faces that doesn't help Seth when he has to go out there and read these horribly scripted promos. Didn't do Roman Reigns any favors. It doesn't work. And then Bray, I like Bray. I like Bray a lot, but I just seem to care less and less because when you lose and you lose and you lose and you lose, it gets old. And Ultra, thanks for joining me for this live review, talking about Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt feuding. I feel really cold on the feud. I just wish it would have been what I would have done is you do the Finn Balor Bray Wyatt feud. And then I would have had Seth actually maybe, challenge The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. There's something fresh there, or have Bray stay on SmackDown. I agree, because since his move to Raw, he's been going nowhere and going nowhere fast. So I hope things improve for Bray Wyatt, but basically, he interrupted Seth Rollins, who was announced as being on the cover for WWE 2K18. And if you haven't checked out that trailer, that was badass. Check it out. Seth Rollins, the Kingslayer, literally burning down WWE headquarters. And to me, that did more to get Seth Rollins over as a badass babyface than his entire booking in this babyface run on Raw. That's just my opinion. So Rollins, Wyatt go back and forth. don't really want to recap what they said because if you heard it once, you heard it 10 million times. Why it makes you spooky, I'm a god, what have you, I'm going to lose speech. And Wyatt appears at ringside. Rollins dives off the top rope onto Wyatt, and that was pretty much the end of that. Elias Sampson attacked Finn Balor backstage, so it does look like we are getting an Elias Sampson-Finn Balor feud. Or Elias Sampson, yeah, make sure I said the right thing. So it's a little late, guys. Watch for 3 hours of Raw, kind of takes it out of you. But in the live chat, what do you guys think of an Elias Sampson Finn Balor feud? It's not one of that exactly, screams off the pages as, oh, this is going to be really good. I thought we were getting a not Finn Balor. Well, actually, you know what would be interesting? I'm going to throw this out there because I was just thinking in my mind. Dean Ambrose needs to turn heel. What if you did a heel Dean Ambrose versus Finn Balor feud? What do you guys think of that? Let me know. I think that would be more interesting. I don't know. It's just like Finn Balor, Elias Sampson. Okay, we'll see how it goes. But yeah. Did not watch the Akira Tozawa TJ Perkins match. I DVR'd that and fast forward through it. So if you want my thoughts, there will be no thoughts. We had an interesting segment between The Miz, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas. Potentially The Miz recruiting them as part of his, what the hell did he call him? His entourage. He said, you guys are pretty much losers. You're pathetic. I know you won't punch me in the face. And you pretty much are, losers. He pretty much called them losers and failures. And he knows, even if you get one up on me this week, the next week, the following week, the week after, see, The Miz knows how Raw booking goes and WWE booking in general. It's just like, you could start off strong the first week, but then there's no plan for the next 5 weeks. So I just love the way that The Miz ran these guys down, and it played a role later on in the show. And we will talk about that after we talk about what was easily damn good match of the night. Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns. Like I said, these two just have really good chemistry with one another. It's a hard-hitting, physical affair. Yeah, Robbie brought up the fact that my Penguins won the 2017 Stanley Cup. They're the Stanley Cup champions, and that is the best thing going for the summer. I could care less, honestly, about Raw or SmackDown or any of the pay-per-views. When the Pens won the Stanley Cup, that made my summer. So real quick, had to get a shout-out. Thank you for bringing that up, Robbie. Let's go, Pens. But that always brings a smile to my face. But this match between Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns also brought a smile to my face because thank you, Ultra. That was a really good match, really hard-hitting, physical match, and it led to a surprise, the return of Braun Strowman in the ambulance, because he was not finished with Roman Reigns. As you all know, they're destined, as the Joker said in The Dark Knight, we're destined to do this forever. So Strowman appears on the Titantron with an ambulance backing up into the arena. It was a great return. The place went nuts, and I went nuts. I'm like, thank God Braun Strowman is back. The show badly needs him, and he is not finished with Roman Reigns. It allows for Samoa Joe to grab Roman Reigns, lock him in the coquina clutch, and for the second time, that's right, 2 times, right guy went over. Samoa Joe went over Roman Reigns, albeit in not the cleanest fashion, but a win is a win. And he picks up momentum heading into his huge match against Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Strowman hits the ring. He hits a reverse chokeslam on Roman Reigns and announces that he is challenging Roman Reigns in an ambulance match at Great Balls of Fire. I'm down for that. Seeing Strowman and Reigns beat the piss out of each other, if this is the way you're going to cap off their feud and potentially, move Strowman into line to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, you have him go over on Roman Reigns in the ambulance match, that would be the right move to make. So really great match. Great to have Braun back. Monday night, Braun is back. So that'll give me another reason to continue watching Raw. We had a Miz TV segment. It included 2 bears and a big red gift box. The Miz and Maurice, they've kind of been on the rocks the past couple of weeks due to the Miz upsetting his wife, and they wanted to get back on the same page. So the Miz gave Maurice a grandfather clock, albeit the grandfather clock that was destroyed 2 weeks ago in the giant red box. So Maurice was, sucking up to the Miz and schmaltzing all over him and just, saying, "Oh, I love you so much," blah, blah, blah. And then Dean Ambrose would appear, and he clotheslined the Miz over the top rope. And the 2 bears, believe it or not, you can never have guessed who were in those 2 bear costumes. It was Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. So it looks like there is an alignment between them and The Miz. Something to look out for. That's interesting. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually interested to see where that goes for them. They beat the shit out of Dean Ambrose, and I would care if they beat the shit out of Dean Ambrose, but I just don't really care. Again, like WWE, the way you book your baby faces, I just don't care about them. You don't make them interesting, make them boring, bland, vanilla. You have them do the same thing week after week after week, and I don't know what's happened to Dean Ambrose. It's like he's there. I know he's busting his ass. He wrestles the most, I believe, matches in the company, but it's just like you almost forget about him because really, what has he done? I mean, it's been since that WWE title reign, it just went all downhill for him. And I'm a huge Dean Ambrose fan. I always have been, but it's just like I don't know. I know what they need to do. Think they need to turn him heel, and that would easily freshen him up. Let him unloose. Let him unhinged. And you could have a whole wealth of fresh feuds there from Finn Balor. You could do a rematch Seth Rollins. You could link him up with Roman Reigns, what have you. There are a number of feuds on Raw that you could do with a heel Dean Ambrose. And again, it would create more of a sense of unpredictability. What is he going to do next? Because I know he could thrive in that role if you just let him loose. I didn't watch this match between Cesaro and Sheamus versus Titus O'Neil, Apollo Crews. Cesaro and Sheamus won. Like I said, that's the nice thing about watching Raw on the DVR. I think that is the best way to watch this show going forward because you can just click and delete. So I did not watch that. We had the Raw Women's Division was literally shoved into one giant-ass segment. So the cluster FUCK of the Raw Women's Division continued. It was supposed to be Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. Emma walks up. And Alexa Bliss, appears, starts brawling with Emma, and then what the hell happened here? Dana Brooke, Mickie James comes out, Bayley runs in and cleans house. There were some worries that there was going to be no women's division segment or match on this entire show. We did get one, however, it just feels lazy, uninspired, and like they just were like, oh shit, we're running short on time, so we got to cut this down. And I don't know what their plans are for who's going to challenge Alexa Bliss next for that women's championship. I would like to see Sasha Banks challenge Alexa Bliss for that championship. I think that would be, you got to build Bayley back up. I just don't think now you can do Bayley versus Sasha Banks with the way that they have mishandled Bayley. And that is a video I will be doing in the near future on the lackluster booking of Bayley because it has just been atrocious. But Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, what do you guys think of the live chat? Something you'd be interested in? Let me know. But that would be the feud I would like to see them heading into SummerSlam. So maybe you could do like a, I was going to say Fatal 5-Way, maybe a 6-pack challenge at Great Balls of Fire, and we'll see where they go with that. And then we had the ending to Monday Night Raw. Kurt Angle brought out Enzo and Cass, the Big Show, and the Revival. And he interrogated the Revival, Big Show. He said it pretty much wasn't you guys. And Cass said, well, I had this lump on the back of my neck from the fact that the Big Show allegedly punched Big Cass in the back and laid him out. And then Corey Graves stood up. And then he announced the fact that Cass, the WWE medical team, never evaluated you. They never, proved that there was a mark on your back at all. And Cass is kind of like this look on his face. And you're thinking, wait a minute, are they? And then he says, it was actually the EMTs that, looked me over and checked me out and made sure I could compete last week. And then Graves showed security footage, and he said, I'll show you what actually happened to Enzo and who attacked him. And it showed on the footage, Big Cass made it look like he was attacked by somebody. And that led to the reveal that Big Cass attacked his partner, his tag team partner, Enzo, and he cut one hell of a promo, pretty much saying that I rode on your back for all these years. You were the one holding me down, and you were pretty much a loser. You were pathetic. Your mouth would get you in trouble. And Cass, he tried and he tried and he tried, and eventually he just snapped. He could not take not having any tag team championship gold. They never held gold once. And he says, Enzo's mouth writes the checks that his mouth can't cash. Cass cut a on point, fiery, what a heel promo, what a turn this was. This was awesome. And Enzo with the tears in his eye, literally he had tears in his eye. It was just one of those moments. It was like, this is a really good promo. And Cass hits the boot on Enzo's head and says, you can't teach that. And he storms off. And this looks like this is the end of Enzo and Cass. And it's sad because I felt like there was so much more potential in these two guys, specifically winning those tag team championships. And the one negative I can say about the Hardys coming back, and it is great to have them back, I can pretty much guarantee for a fact that if the Hardys did not come back at WrestleMania, that it would have been Enzo and Cass winning those Raw Tag Team Championships. I guarantee that. And just to never see them win the NXT Tag Team titles or the WWE Tag Team titles, that's sad as a fan of them. However, on a positive note, I think this will be a stepping point for Big Cass. How should I just call him? Cass. Colin Cassidy, whatever you want to call him, in his transition to singles success. I always saw potential in him. Enzo, I'm not sure where they go with him, but I thought the way that this breakup was handled, if you're going to handle it, they handled it right. It's just, man, I really wish I saw them win those tag team titles, particularly last year in Brooklyn at SummerSlam. I felt like there were 2 years in a row they didn't have them winning at NXT or the main roster when you had shows in Brooklyn. That was a missed opportunity, but the heel turn, I thought, was very well done, and it closed out what I thought was an average to almost enjoyable episode of Monday Night Raw. I did like the opening promo from Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe. I liked the Roman Reigns Samoa Joe match. Braun Strowman returned. This huge heel turn between Enzo and Cass, with Cass turning heel. So you know what? There was enough on the show that I did enjoy it, and that's why I came up here to give you guys a review and my thoughts. So if looking back on it, if I had to give a grade for this episode of Raw, I would give it a C+. That is my grade for tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. Guys, leave your comments in the live chat for what you thought of Raw tonight. And as soon as this video is posted, be sure to leave your comments down below in the comments section what you thought of Monday Night Raw. So that is it, guys, for this live Monday Night Raw review. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Ultra Robbie, it was great having you guys interact in the live chat. C for Cass, there you go. And you can't teach that. So that concludes this live review from Monday Night Raw. And thank you all for tuning in to watch. Please click my like and subscribe button for more video content coming soon to this channel. And be on the lookout for me in my next video, whenever that may be. Remember, this channel is, I'm officially, just wanted to say one more time, so proud that I'm a fan of the five-time Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins. One more time, let's go Pens. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care and have a glorious night.